All right. Good afternoon and welcome back. So we are ready to continue our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough. We're in season 1 and we're about to go into the 4th chapter. Um, Now, as we get ready to do this, so the previous 3 chapters I've been able to do each chapter in one playthrough. In a couple cases I split the videos for YouTube, and then with the last one I decided not even to bother. I just put it all in one video, which is long. It's unreasonably long, but it just wasn't worth splitting, honestly. Now, with these last two, however, I may be forced to because these last two chapters are probably going to be a bit longer, and I don't know that I'll be able to get through the fourth one all today in one playthrough or not. Um, and some of that is going to kind of depend on our good fortune, um, because I think this fourth. Let's take a look at it. So season one, Tower of Nightmares. Yes. So when we get to that, real good possibility that if we kind of have bad luck on the instance for which this chapter is named, that it's going to be pretty time consuming, and as a result, um, gonna have to split that and may not even finish it in one playthrough today. So we'll just have to see. But let's go ahead and start moving forward. So we got some stuff in our mailbox here. Let's see. Um, yeah, so we've already done. Oh no, we haven't already done that. So we did the assault on the Aetherblade stronghold in Lion's Arch. This is a separate thing. So there used to be three paths of Twilight Arbor, and then they got rid of one of them and replaced them with this, which is a level 80 path of Twilight Arbor that is specifically built around the Aetherblades. Um, so there used to be there was like a forward up, and then I believe there used to be an up, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a long time, so I might be wrong. But regardless, like that is not a thing anymore. Now there's this instead. Um, all right, what else we got here? Oh, we have a gift from Scarlet. Okay, cool. She sent us a gift. We'll open that in a second. Lord Farron is super grateful and wants us not to talk about it anymore. Um, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna like get into the RP thing with Lord Farron. Like, bad character, who's going to persist throughout much of the story, and we're just gonna have to kind of accept it. All right. Tower of Nightmares. Let's go. Do we get another mail? Of course we do. Again, so we're always going to get a mail to start things out with like season one because that's how players were notified that the next thing was coming up when it originally released, and apparently they chose to stick with that. So get to Kessex Hills. Something huge and unpleasant is being cloaked from view. Okay, so Marjorie is letting us know this, but presumably Marjorie was not the one to identify it. It's far more likely that Casimir was able to identify it. But also, invisible walls are blocking access to the center of Viathan Lake. So, yeah. Kessex Hills. So there used to be like a whole other thing going on here. And no map was more impacted by the change that ArenaNet made in terms of the actual Living World model to what was eventually called Living World and wasn't, or was another thing. Um, Kessex Hills was the map that was left in like a state of disrepair and chaos. And that is reflected here as well. I would love to see this like change, but it's not going to change. I think ArenaNet's been pretty clear about that. So and it's impacted by season one. It's impacted by season two over here, and then it's impacted by like this weird, stupid thing that they added where you get these rifts that are appearing like over here. So this is a good example of a map that, again, ArenaNet claiming that the maps are frozen in one point in time. Kessex Hills is literally in four different points in time simultaneously. Absolute mess. All right, so we're going to be headed over here. This used to be like a relatively normal lake. It did have some crate hanging out in the bottom and stuff, and they would be engaged in some shenanigans against the what are they called? The Quaggin, who live over here, and this whole heart was built around like protecting the Quaggins from the crate. And then all that kind of changed with what we're about to see. So let's go check it out. Yeah. And if I sound like um, underwhelmed or unexcited, it's not because this wasn't necessarily good at the time. This is, if there's one thing. Okay, so this is worth noting though. All right, so we see something here that we would not normally see in Kessex Hills. That's because we have this chapter active. So they actually changed the skybox to make Kessex Hills look differently. Most importantly, that right there, right? But if I sound a little bit underwhelmed or unpleased, if if there is one if there's one chapter in season one that maybe is less good on re-release than it was on its original release, it might be this one, because this thing was super busy, super packed. A lot of players were engaging in that when it was limited time content because there was limited time to engage in it. Now that's no longer the case because it's there all the time. It's instanced, and so that knowing that you can return to it any time makes people far less likely to actually return to it. Right? It's like like I hate to use the example of the McRib, but the only reason that people love the McRib is because it's around for a limited time. Right? I mean, it actually tastes like trash. Not to everybody, maybe, but like, it's the same reason.
Marjorie and Casimir went on ahead of us.
All right, thank you, Sean Walters.
Let me know when you're ready, and we'll set off out.
All right, I'll let you know. Thanks. ArenaNet does the exact same thing in the gem store, right? Like, hey, limited time on this being on sale, and this outfit, like, it will only be on sale at certain times, right? Actually, there's an outfit I've been waiting for. It's back. All right. See, so I've been waiting months for this outfit to come back. Super like it. The only weird thing about this outfit, this has nothing to do with today's playthrough, but just of note, it widens the ass on female characters by a noticeable degree. Like, it's kind of weird. Look at that. Well, that's a bad example. I have a hard time seeing the ass on that outfit anyway. Well, that one kind of does too. Anyway, like, it really puts a bunch of junk in the trunk. This particular outfit does, but I really like this outfit. I think it's a great outfit. I've been waiting for it to come back. It's only around for a limited time, right? So people are more likely, myself included, to grab it when it comes around. The fact that this was going to be a limited time thing, players were all over it. Today, when we get to that, I am real concerned that we will be one of like 2 or 3 players in there and essentially unable to advance. Yes, we should actually. Oh, we gotta claim the bridge. All right, let's go claim the bridge. Follow me, Sergeant Walters, or I'll follow you. I don't care, as long as someone follows someone, right? That's a weird thing to say. Was that Marjorie who said that? That would be like the least surprising character for that to come from, I suppose. Yes. So, when I was like using finishers on the, oh, that's a reflect. When I was using finishers on the mechanical messes in Lion's Arch, I mentioned that we will see more characters later who also need to be like finished, and that's what we were seeing there. Now in this case I didn't actually finish it because I kind of wanted to continue to engage the others, but that would be how that guy was down for a while. Like, that would be an example of the same kind of thing. As far as I know, they may have dabbled with that at other times, but by and large, like, Season 1 is the only time that comes immediately to mind where they did that. I don't think players really enjoyed it very much to have to finish characters in PvE like this right here. And again, if you had a special finisher, then it would be on display here. I certainly do not in this account.
What could the Nightmare Court and the Crate possibly have in common? Their toxic new alliance is obviously the source of the strangeness happening here. What are they planning?
Okay, yeah, so...
We'll have to wait.
Stop talking, Sergeant Walters. Okay, so that is worth note. Shut up. So this is of note, right? Earlier we saw the Dredge and the Flame Legion, like, collaborating. Now we get the Nightmare Court and the Crate collaborating. This is kind of one of the weaknesses. Like I've said before, I really don't feel like season 1 is actually very good in terms of writing. I think it's pretty weak. I give it more of a pass than I give season 3 because
Someone to test my poisonous new cocktail on.
see, like dialogue that can be written by like a 10-year-old. All right, so Sergeant Walters messing with the flower here.
Now the centaurs are on us. Let's end this quick.
What are you talking about? And hallucinations as well. The hallucinations, when this was all like open world, the hallucinations were like a regular thing that you had to deal with. They were actually like
We don't have time.
problematic. Now that this is instance, like it's much more manageable. All right,
What's
you
going
good,
on?
Sergeant Walters? So to come back to what I was discussing.
Wait, you're no centaur. Oh gods, forgive me. I wasn't in my right mind.
That's okay,
Forget
Sergeant
about me.
Walters.
Just get to Marjorie and Casimir. Protect them.
All right, we will do that. So we actually see something similar to this in the human personal story as well. Where is it Logan? I think it's actually Logan gets like experiences like hallucinations. It's unrelated to all this business, but a similar type of effect, right? Or no, Logan's the one we fight. It's the player character who experiences the hallucinations in the personal story. Anyway, all right, to come back to the Toxic Alliance, right, which is the Crate and the Nightmare Court. It stretches, I think, what the player is willing to accept. And I talk about this a lot when I talk about Guild Wars 2 story. The rules of their world that they created are extremely unclear, and they often do things within the story that seem to break previously established rules within the story. And these alliances between these different races, while not necessarily breaking a rule per se, do feel like a bit of a stretch. I can't think of any like lore reason why the Crate and the Nightmare Court wouldn't collaborate, aside from the fact that in general the Crate seem to loathe all things not Crate, so that seems odd. When we find out why this is happening, it's really going to fly in the face of everything that the Nightmare Court appears to be. Like, it runs completely contrary to their central tenets of their like philosophies or their principles or whatever it is that however you want to package that for the Nightmare Court. Like, them collaborating, or not collaborating, but them, like, the reason this collaboration is happening is like super contradictory to their whole thing. So again, while maybe it's not violating a rule that that ArenaNet has created for the world of Tyria, it certainly is problematic for the Tyria they've created. And there's another aspect to that I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point, right? We're pursuing Scarlet, and we've encountered this alliance. So, I mean, we can go ahead and discuss. I don't think that's actually nearly as spoilery as I was treating it. So, obviously, Scarlet is the one who brought them together with this Toxic Alliance. And that's kind of the direction it's all going to be leading. Why would the Nightmare Corps ever subordinate themselves to anyone, Scarlet or anyone else? That is the opposite of the Nightmare Court's whole thing. The Nightmare Court exists because they do not want to be subordinate in some way, even if it's just philosophically, to the Mother Tree. But now, like, Scarlet is like more palatable in some way. That's nonsense. In fact, in much later story, I'm gonna kill myself trying to spike this guy. That's why people don't like having to finish PV enemies. In much later story, we will learn that the Nightmare Court is unwilling to even subordinate themselves to Elder Dragons. Why would they do it for Scarlet? Like, it's an absurdity, right? So this is one of the weaknesses of Scarlet as the big baddie, and of kind of how they wrote Season 1. It just doesn't make any sense within the world that that ArenaNet created here. Oh, I should have known that was going to happen. Now, let's actually... It's one of these guys who's downed. See if we can just finish them. We'll get our pet to help us get back up. There we go.
We heal as one.
For me, it's the biggest problem with Scarlet as a villain. Her like over the topness. I don't have a problem with that, right? I would say, you know, it's no more egregious than like Heath Ledger's Joker and Batman, right? So the problem is not like, oh, it's you know, super comic booky or whatever. I mean, ArenaNet is always comic booky at best, if not juvenile at worst. If I'm still playing Guild Wars 2 at this point, it means I've learned to accept that. The problem then was that it simply not only was the comic book villain aspect of it was one thing, but the it simply wasn't plausible what Scarlet was and what she was capable of. And we'll see as we finish Season 1, we'll get a lot more into that.
Well executed.
It's a weird thing to say to someone killing you. I love that they have all that ambient dialogue, but sometimes it's kind of strange.
Casimir, look. Help has arrived. We'll soon be back in camp. We can pass on what we've learned about the tower, then rest.
Rest? I hardly think we'll get any.
Now you
Oh no!
in the muck beneath us, in our long shadow.
So one thing that they do a great job of, and I will 100% like acknowledge this, and I'm 100% on board with it, is the crate more than like any other of the race's interior or whatever. The crate have a cultish quality to them. Like they have some sort of higher
Toxins rend your minds.
some sort of belief system that is like oddly esoteric, or I don't know how to describe it, but it more than any other race interior, they are this is like a big part of what they are. And it's like it's dark, right? Like some of the religious constructs that are built into the game have a parallel in the real world. So like you could say, oh yeah, the Coden, it's basically like it's almost like Buddhism, right? The Norn, it's like man, come on, get out of here with that nonsense. It's like Native American shamanism, sort of. Man, which one of these guys is closer? See, so usually, like, the NPCs will help you out, but... Or maybe she was. Maybe that's what happened. But with the crate, the only, like, real-world parallel that you will find to their, like... to their belief structure has got to be... has got to be considered, like, cultish in nature. Get me up, doggo. I'm embarrassing myself here.
Anyone? Help! I owe you one.
Our alliance gives us the power to scale the heavens themselves.
And so the dialogue reflects that as well. And we'll see that not only here, but throughout this entire chapter. we'll see dialogue out of these Toxic Crate, which, I mean, are very much like, you know, like really extremist in nature.
Before I was so rudely interrupted, with that tower looming over us, our odds of finding rest are slim to none.
I wish you'd go back to Divinity's Reach.
That's a hell of a thing to say.
Perhaps we should bring our friends up to speed on what's been happening.
That tower was veiled with illusion magic until just a short while ago.
I found the perfect spell. It was luck, really.
It was fantastic. The sky darkened and...
I could sense the magical framework. A mesmer had formed the illusion.
She just closed her eyes and raised her hands toward it. Magic crackled from her fingertips.
I found the crack in its cloak. A magical poke in the right place, and it dropped like...
Like a Norn fart at a moot.
Jory. So when the veil came down, there it was. The tower.
And the crate. And the Nightmare Court.
They weren't happy. Still aren't.
We need to deal with this tower. The question is how. It looks impregnable.
Appearances are everything, Jory. If it looks like a fortress, it undoubtedly guards something precious.
I'd welcome the chance to look inside it, but the base is thick with toxic spore clouds.
Maybe we need a strong perfume, like what I spray on a hanky when around, aromatic warriors.
Exactly. I know poisons. I'm sure I could formulate an antitoxin if I had samples of the spores.
Another personal victory.
Alright. So there we saw one achievement. We saw two different achievements there, right? And I mentioned this a couple times, so I won't belabor it too much. But we just got two achievements. One historical, one for the most recent thing. And again, that's just to give people the opportunity to catch up with achievement points that they weren't able to get in the past. Because of how all this was rolled back out and how it originally went away. They're going to the camp at Thunder Ridge. All right, cool. Yes, it's obviously in the air, so it's aerialized toxic. Okay. Nerve agent. Those are the symptoms of a nerve agent. It's insidious. Nerve agents are, in fact, insidious. Probably the worst kind. I mean, blister agents are like, not a good experience, but. Perfect timing. I do, in fact, have perfect timing. I'm calling her my lady. My lady. Yeah, she is a noble. Although we are as well, so I don't know why we're calling her my lady. The water smells like moldy cheese. That's not good. You'd think that would be something people would notice with or without the illusion. But I don't know how mesmer magic works. It is truly a mystery to me. To ArenaNet's credit, they haven't made a lot of effort to explain how magic works in general. Now, I mean, they did a whole story arc on it with, like, the ley lines and everything. I mean, that's been a better part of the entire Guild Wars 2 story in general. And we'll get to that as we continue our playthrough. But, like, there are a lot of things that aren't clear and are made, like that lack of clarity is made evident by, the dialogue that we just got. Where... I mean, if you want to, like, go way into it, right? Marjorie talking about, like, or Casimir talking about how she found just the right spell, and there was a weak point in the illusion. Like, this all makes it sound very technical, right? I don't know. All right, we got a letter. Yes, Camp at Thunder Ridge, after unveiling the towering monstrosity. We aren't the type to watch others suffer. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Let's go talk to Arcanist Dolja and see what we can do. All right. So these are something that were added. These have always been in Kessex Hills since Season 1, so for 10 years since Season 1 originally rolled out. And they always will be, and that's because of the necessity for players to be able to gather. I should have been paying attention. I think that person left after harvesting this one. Yep. So the ability to harvest these is why they have to be present on a map, right? Because boy, would ArenaNet take a beating, and rightfully so, if they created a resource and then rendered players unable to gather that resource at some point in time. Like, you know, how do I now craft my toxic sharpening stones or whatever it is? Which was a recipe introduced with the original season 1, and I believe is now you can.
Time to do some real damage.
I believe at some point they reintroduced the ability to get that recipe, and then maybe through the Fractal or something. I don't remember exactly, or maybe the Pact logistics stuff. But now, you know, all this is back in the game anyway. So. Needs help gathering spore samples. All right, what else can I do to help? All right. So all that to say, is this Doja? No, that's Steelbreaker. Where's this Doja person? Oh, way over yonder. So we've talked before about like the green bars, right? I do not enjoy them, but I accept the necessity of them. And so that's what we're going to have here. We're going to have a green bar. Wait, where's this Doja person? Oh, it's just fight back again. That is for the green bar. Okay. So there are some events that, like, will directly contribute to that. That's what we're going to try and get now. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of luck in that. So Spider Queen spawns in 2 areas. And she's not at one of them. Alchemist spawns up here. Not there. So the one thing that they did do... Wait a minute, is that just Marjorie? I think wanting the... Yeah, that's what that is. Why did I think for a second that I had Roller Beetle? I very clearly do not. I don't think I've ever really wanted Roller Beetle all that bad on an account where I don't have it until just now, when I kind of wished I had it. Ah, well. Let's get this POI while we're here.
Feel the fury. Time to do some real damage. Back me up.
Stupid trainees. There we go. Where's... Alright, so see how they actually put a separate logo on the map for Spider Queen? That is real nice, real helpful. If they're going to make us try to fill this bar, then at least give us, like, the ability. Oh no! Mentor's in the cocoon. There we go. Alright, so because that's one of the specific events, it took like a big chunk out of, I feel bad for this person. I think they were showing up for Spider Queen, and we are already killed it. Any sign of Alchemist, though? No sign of Alchemist. What's that? It's one of the toxic events. So this map also still has, and actually a number of maps actually have toxic events taking place on them. These still happen in a few different places. Not a fan. There we go. Finish that bar up, though. Got some more spores. That's good. Everyone likes spores. And we got mail. See, now that I went in there to, like, start that event, and then ended up finishing the bar anyway, like, now I gotta deal with all this nonsense. I'd prefer not to die again for like the umpteenth time. Ah, I got no sickle. Well then, let's skip it. Because we got what we want here, which is our mail. Dashing off a quick note. There is an antitoxin that will allow us to enter the tower. Okay, so this is, as bad as that green bar was, this is the part I've been like super concerned about.
For the Tamini.
I really should have. I was thinking about this the other day. So I should have done my story playthrough on, I should have done it on a warrior instead of a ranger. I should have done it on Spellbreaker. I am more comfortable with that. Having said that, it's too late now because I don't want to change characters. So we are going to go into this whole Nightmare Tower thing and try to just limp through it. Hopefully there's at least, if there are even 6 people in there, we should be okay. If there's less than 6, we are really gonna be in bad way.